Looking at the Big Ten, man, this Saturday, speaking of Indiana and Illinois, and the Illini come to Bloomington, Indiana to take on an Indiana team that if they won that game, Rick, they would be within a game of first place in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
That's almost crazy. I know fans expected that, but I don't think that was reality. And for this team to keep themselves in this position, how they started the year of really having to grow and find themselves, it's a pretty damn good move. I mean, that loss to Wisconsin, it hurts horribly because you had such an opportunity to get that win, and that win would carry so much weight, especially now they're listed as a number 1 seed. So that would really help them. The fact that they had the 22-point lead does not show up on the metrics, but that would have been a hell of a win, even though you get another shot at them at home. But man, if you could have swept them, that's a big time. But they're where they wanted to be. I mean, I can't imagine Indiana complaining about anything right now.
No, I wouldn't think so. I mean, a couple of those games that they could have, in the first 3 that they lost, they could have won, really. But this is a game against Illinois. There's a lot at stake. One is, I'm not saying they would put them in the tournament, but I think it'd be a very solid step towards saying, yeah, they're going to make the tournament, because then you got 3 signature wins against Purdue, Ohio State, and Illinois. Secondly, I only mentioned this because I'm a voter in the AP poll. They're currently 30th or 31st.
Yeah, you had them 23rd, I saw.
Yeah, LSU and Iowa State, a couple of the teams ranked ahead of them, got beat last night. I think that would give them a better chance to get in the top 25 and, build the brand of the program.
How's Marquette ranked with 7 losses?
How? They went on a pretty big winning streak, and they were near the top of the Big East, and a couple of the losses weren't that bad. And then the third thing it would do for Indiana is, I think most bracketologists now have them as an 8 seed or a 7 seed. They probably need to push to get up towards a 6 seed.
Yes.
8 seed, if you win your first game, you play a 1 seed the second game.
Yeah.
And 7, you play a 2. So that's the area where seeding, I think, does matter, who you're playing in your second game.
Well, and I think that the home game with Wisconsin will give them that very opportunity, because they weren't a number 1 seed back when they played the first time, but now they are. And you beat a number 1 seed, that's got to move you. Especially if they're able to get the win over Illinois, you add that a number 1 seed win has to move them up a seed line. You'd have the wins you just talked about: Illinois, Purdue, Ohio State, and then Wisconsin. That's a pretty solid resume.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, the top of the league right now is what? Michigan State, Illinois, Wisconsin. Is that the way it is?
All 8 and 2.
And then who's next? Ohio State,
Purdue. Purdue actually is at 7 and 3. Then Ohio State at 6 and 3.
And then Indiana's 6th.
Yep, at 7 and 4.
They need to fight off. Isn't Michigan right behind them? And Michigan has the tiebreaker on them, and they don't play Michigan again. So yeah, they need to hold their ground or try to gain a spot if they can.
And Michigan didn't they miss games with COVID?
Yeah, they missed the one Michigan State game. They played one of them, but I think one of them's been postponed and hasn't been rescheduled yet. So I don't know if they've got working in or not.
2 less games. How would, if like right now the record is 5 and 4, Indiana's is 7 and 4. As long as they don't, the Indiana would stay in front of Michigan in that regard, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Iowa's a team that they've got a sub 500 conference record, but a 14-7 overall record. They're still a potential. They could possibly make the tournament, but do they have to get to 500 or better? Do you think a team can make the tournament with even a 1 under 500 record in the Big Ten? They're probably going to be
probably not. I mean, I looked at their non-conference record just briefly. They lost to Iowa State. I think they did win their game in the challenge, though. I forgot who they played. I'm pretty sure they won their challenge game. So but I don't think they played. Fran McCaffrey doesn't usually play a top of the line non-conference schedule, so I can't imagine they have a big string of non-league wins, quality wins. Indiana keeps benefiting from, well, until Monday night, Notre Dame's improvement. that Notre Dame win at the time, which I think people shrugged off. Notre Dame went on to win 10 of its next 11, and that became a more of a quality win. Now they gave it back by playing terrible against Duke on Monday night, but Notre Dame had moved into like first four out or next four out or something on the bracketology at ESPN.
That's big for them because they were not even close for a lot of part of the season. And again, it helps Indiana that those losses to like teams like Syracuse never going. You're not going to get past that. The Penn State loss, it is what it is, but they're not going through the season undefeated. Obviously, you've got Michigan State losing at home to a team like Northwestern, who's one of the worst in the league, so it's simply going to happen. But they're just now in a position, they've just got to take care of business now. They're in a position to do that. They're playing much better, and they just have to take care of they've got to win at home. And
they got two road games next week. Is that what they got? Minnesota and Northwestern? Is that what it is?
Yeah, and they need to steal one of those at least. And obviously, Northwestern would be you'd think the most likely. But like I said, that's a team that went on the road and beat Michigan State. Minnesota is 6-4 at home. They're 3-3 away. But they're 2-7 in the conference. Not having a good run in the conference.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've lost some tough games. I mean, Northwestern has lost a lot of close games too, I think, in the league.
Northwestern has. They've fought and fought, but can't quite get there. Let's see. Northwestern, speaking of which, is at Nebraska this Saturday. Illinois is in Indiana, of course. Iowa tomorrow is at Ohio State, and Wisconsin as at Illinois tonight. So, wow.
Does Indiana only have 3 home games left? Is that right?
I think it's 4.
Okay.
Illinois. Let me get it pulled up. Illinois, Wisconsin. I think you have
Rutgers?
Minnesota, Rutgers,
and
Maryland. Maryland.
Okay. They get another crack at Maryland?
Yeah, they get to come. They bring them home. That is on February 24th.
Okay.
See, where are we today? It is this Saturday. Yeah, the big week off today. Then 3 days. Then they travel to Northwestern during the week. Then on my birthday, they'll be next Saturday at Michigan State. So back-to-back road games to come back home to take on number 11 Wisconsin on Tuesday. Follow that on the 19th by a trip to Ohio State. Come back to host Maryland. You go back to travel to Minnesota, come back to host Rutgers, and travel to Purdue. So they've got some tough road games. Obviously, Purdue's going to be tough. Minnesota's going to be a tough road game. Up there at the barn. Ohio State, obviously, very tough.
I remember the Cody Zeller, Victor Oladipo team got beat up at the barn.
It is a tough place to play, man. But this team is looking like, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but things continue. Probably looking at an NCAA tournament team this year.
Yeah, things would have to really fall apart for them not to make the tournament. As long as they keep playing the way they've been playing, solid defense the entire year, better ball handling, taking care of the ball the second half of the year, and Xavier Johnson maturing into he's one of the better point guards in the Big Ten. I mean, he really
Absolutely. He is really, I said earlier, he's grown into his skin with this team of what he needs to do for this team, it seems like. And I hate to make a big deal of this. Race Thompson, his 3-point shooting, he hasn't brought his percentage up to like 23% now. I did the math on that. His shots have never looked bad.
Right.
And he was only taking those shots because he was instructed to by Mike Woodson.
Right.
Because he knows of what it can bring if he is able to start hitting those shots, what it could bring to Race as a player, but what it brings to the team. And that could be if that was something that was to flourish as this season finishes out, that could be a great additional weapon for that Indiana team.
Well, he's made enough threes now that the defense can't just laugh it off and play 10 feet off of him. They got to respect him and go out there and guard him. And as you mentioned, that creates more space around the basket for Trace Jackson Davis, who, he's got some challenges ahead of him. This, as I remember, playing against Kofi Coburn hasn't been great for him the last couple of years.
Well, not, and you can say that for a lot of people.
You
I
can
would
say
not
that
want to
for a
draw
lot of
that.
people, that's for
I would
sure.
not want to draw that assignment.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but I'd say he's had more trouble with Kofi Coburn than he's had against Dickinson or some of the Purdue dudes or whatever. Kofi Coburn, I'm pretty sure has played pretty well against Indiana. Um, we'll see how it goes. It's Illinois is a different kind of team. They're I think they're the most physical and aggressive team in the Big Ten. They like to um, play the way some of Pitino's old teams did, which is like get in there and body up with guys and get away with whatever you can. They're not going to call every foul. I think they're very happy to get to push the envelope on defensively how aggressive they can play.